Hey guys, Ningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be talking about the STR cooler banner that should be dropping on Global. I think the time I schedule this video to go up, the banner will probably be about, 12 hours away? Something like that. I'll probably schedule it for then, just to give people time to see it and think about it. I know you guys have been blasted with opinions left, right and centre since the 5-year. I know some of the bigger YouTubers have made videos about this already, but I don't see a lot of people sort of respecting Cooler the way I would like them to. I know like Truth put out in his Rainbow Showcase showing off just how ridiculously good Cooler was. Spent almost the entire video talking about how good he was, and then at the end of the video was like, but you shouldn't summon for him. So I obviously disagree. I'm going to go in hard for Cooler. I've been saying this for ages. I think he's an excellent unit. I've always been a fan of Cooler. I just really want to have him. Now, obviously, not everybody wails out on the game like I do, so I want to try and focus on the different kind of categories of players and what I feel this banner holds for them. Like, I will come straight out of the gate and say that if you're free to play, or you're somebody who spends very little money, like maybe you buy the capsule thing every month, maybe like every now and then you'll buy like one sale pack or something like that, then I do think that you are probably in that boat that you should be saving for the 5-year. There could definitely be an argument to be made that you could drop like one multi, because you never know, like Twitter's always full of screenshots of people pulling the unit on the first multi. So I would recommend giving it at least one try. 50 stones is not going to make or break anything at the end of the day. We're obviously going to get a lot of stones between now and the 5-year. Of course, for Global, the 5-year banners are going to have tickets, so there's even more value than the players on JP got. So I think, even if you're free to play, one multi and a dream is not exactly going to be the end of the world. Just make sure that if you do decide to do that and you get a bad multi, just stop. Like, don't, you know, try another one and another one, and then all of a sudden you spent like 200 of your free-to-play stones and you haven't pulled him. Now, obviously, if you go up to the next echelon, where you spend a little bit of money here and there, maybe you pick up the capsule, maybe you get the sales, like, all the time, then I do think it's definitely worth going over. So we're going to talk about his banner a little bit here. Obviously, we do have the STR Cooler and then the new physical Thouser who awakens into the full Coolered Armoured Squadron. Obviously, he will go into the general SSR pool once the banner is gone, or even if a new banner comes up while this banner is still out. They've been doing that quite a lot lately. And then the featured units, which obviously has been a big topic of discussion. So JP, we had Namek Goku, Kid Goku, Angel Golden Frieza, Metal Cooler, the old physical Final Form Cooler, and then of course some featured SRs for the SA rays. Now, a lot of people are thinking about the fact that Goku may be removed, because Global has been changing banners quite a lot lately. So if we look back, this was the Future Gohan banner as it appeared on JP, with Hit as one of the featured units. Then we got Gohan's banner on Global, and Hit was replaced by Goku Black. Now, I thought it was weird. I heard people like Truth, I think even Tiger said this, a lot of people were complaining that they made the banner worse, which I really don't understand. Like, I will firmly die on this hill that they did not make this banner worse, because Int Goku Black is a better unit than Hit. So how does taking off a unit that we just had on the Christmas banner and putting on a unit who is better make the banner worse? Like, I don't understand that line of thinking. Like, obviously on Global, Hit hasn't been on many banners, and that's true, and Ink Goku Black has been on a lot more banners, but we just had Hit on a Christmas banner that featured a global exclusive unit that was super hype. So loads of people poured a ton of stones into that Kaioken Goku banner, and whether they got him or not, probably pulled a copy of Hit. You guys who aren't new to the channel will know that I did not pull the Kaioken Goku in over 1,500 stones, but I pulled 4 copies of Hit. So even though I wasn't particularly keen on going in on this banner, I was very happy that Hit was not going to be on it, because I, like many people, still need dupes for Goku Black. So that was a big change. But then of course the key one is the Piccolo banner. So Piccolo was the one we got right after Christmas. and that had the transforming Vegeta on it, who of course had also just been on the Christmas banner, so they replaced him with Namek Goku. And this was a smart move, because I think a lot of people were prepared to skip Piccolo's banner completely. He's a unit that even on JP, the people that did go in for him have complained that it's impossible to find Piccolo friends, so you can actually run the team properly. Now obviously on Global we got the awakenings for the Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta that became sub-leads for those two categories, so you didn't have to worry too much about whether you pulled the Piccolo or the Gohan. So I think they knew that, and so to make this banner more appealing, they put Namek Goku on here, because this is the first time that he actually returned on Global after his debut banner. So if we do go back to this banner, obviously Namek Goku is on here. Now Piccolo's banner was a couple of months ago. Actually, does it say the end date on here, doesn't it? Yeah, so the banner went away at the end of January, and obviously now this banner is dropping at the beginning of March. So overall it's just over like 5 weeks. Now it's not impossible for him to come back. We've had featured units back to back on banners before. But a lot of people do think that the Namek Goku is going to change. One person in one of my group chats is like convinced that he's not going to change because he makes the banner have more value. And he is basically saying that if somebody pulls Cooler, like first multi, because we know, and so many people are hyped for the 5-year and they want to save for it, if somebody pulls Cooler first multi, they're probably going to dip from the banner. Whereas if you pull Cooler first multi, but you still really need copies of Namek Goku, then you'd be more tempted to do another couple of multis. Whereas I don't think any of the other units on this banner have as high a value. Like Kid Goku hasn't been back much. I think he's only been back on a banner once outside of the step up stuff. Obviously Angel Golden Frieza's been around a ton of times. Physical Cooler was around a bunch back in the day, hasn't been around for a while. And then Metal Cooler was on Piccolo's banner, and was on the Trunks and Zamasu banners for Global. He was added. That's it. That's when Kid Goku came back as well. So they were added as bonuses for Global. So some people, like myself, pulled extra copies of them then. So those guys are kind of like low-key units on the banner, who I don't necessarily think will change at all. Maybe they could change Kid Goku, but it does seem likely that if they are going to change a unit, it could be Namek Goku. And for a lot of people, that will definitely influence them to skip the banner. I have seen some people saying that exact same thing. So it'll be interesting to see. I would like it if the banner stayed the same, because I still need dupes for Namek Goku. And I have no idea who they would replace him with. There has been a crazy, like, wishful thinking sort of rumour flying around of what if they changed Namek Goku for Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, the Christmas global exclusive. It would be interesting. I mean, Global JP got hit and then hit returned on JP before he ever returned on Global. So they have done weird stuff like that before. And obviously for me, considering I do want to go ham for Cooler and did not pull Blue Kaioken Goku, I would actually quite love it if he was on the banner. But then the flip side, like I said, is I do also want copies for Namek Goku. So I do think it's a good banner if it doesn't change. Obviously if it does change, we'll have to review what those changes are. But I do think if you do spend even a small amount of money, this banner is definitely worth a couple of multis at least. And let us talk about why. So this is Cooler, Extreme Ultimate Power. They've renamed Conquest of Terror to Terrifying Conquerors on Global. I like Conquest of Terror more, but at least Terrifying Conquerors isn't a bad name. And then of course Transformation Boost. 3 key, HP 130 and attack and defense 170. That's a really good leader skill. Like, this guy completely outclasses and replaces STR Super Boo as the leader for Transformation Boost. And obviously Terrifying Conquerors is kind of like a Wicked Bloodline plus a few extras kind of team. I think it's actually quite funny. The example that I thought of was Wicked Bloodline with the AGL Metal Cooler. Everyone used to run Turles on there because his secondary leader skill was Extreme AGL. Whereas this new Cooler has evolved to include Turles on his team because Turles is on Terrifying Conquerors. So you can basically run like a Wicked Bloodline team but with Turles, and they'll all be getting the full leader skill. So his team is pretty crazy. So Now let's talk about what he does, and this is why I think he's so good. It's one of the reasons why I thought STR Rose was such a good unit back when he first came out, was just because he does so many things. So obviously he does immense damage, that's pretty standard for a Dokkan Fest exclusive, but he lowers attack and defense, so super useful in Super Battle Road and any events where that is still doable. Obviously some newer Dokkan events not so much, but Super Battle Road is very useful. Up until God Goku in the Legendary Goku event, you can lower attack, and then lowering defense is still useful against those later stages as well. So that's very good. Then his passive skill, attack and defense 100%, pretty standard. And then transformation boost allies key 2 and attack and defense 30% when facing only one enemy, which is most of the game. So most of the game he's going to be giving all of his team 30% attack and defense, including himself. So that increases his base attack and defense even more. And then Terrifying Conquerors allies 2 key and attack and defense 50% when facing 2 or more. So this will be really good for Super Battle Road. And I mean, look at that. Attack and defense 50%. So if you go into Super Battle Road with a team consisting of him and then units that fit under Terrifying Conquerors like Golden Frieza and various other Frieza members, even units like Turles, they're going to be getting a 50% attack and defense boost on Super Battle Road, coupled with his 170 attack and defense leader skill. So his team is absolutely going to wreck shop on Super Battle Road, and he plays a big part in that. And then he gets his transformation. So his transformation is an active skill, which means you can choose whether to do it or not, which is a good thing to note, because if you do run him and a friend as the lead, you could transform one of them, keep the other one as a support unit, and then they are like the perfect link partner for each other, because they basically have the exact same link set. So that is a very strong option as well. But his transformation, you can, and if you're fighting a Pure Saiyan or a Hybrid Saiyan enemy, which is basically like 75% of the game, Legendary Goku event, Pure Saiyan. Most of the stages of Super Battle Road have at least one Hybrid Saiyan or Pure Saiyan enemy. Obviously, like the Mono Super Battle Roads have those. The Infinite Dragon Ball History, if you're going against the Super stages, or later on when we get the Broly movie and the Trunks versus the Zamasu story versions, all of those have a stage where you're fighting a Pure Saiyan or a Hybrid Saiyan fairly early on, so you can get his transformation. And then, even in the slim chance that you're not fighting any of those enemies, he can still transform from the 6th turn. Now, that seems kind of irrelevant, because I don't think there's many events outside of things that have Pure Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan enemies where you'll actually be going for 6 turns. But other than that, I mean, that's really inconsequential, because you'll mostly be seeing this part a lot. And then his links: Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Big Bad Bosses, Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Universe Most Malevolent, and Fierce Battle. Metamorphosis, obviously super useful for units like Janemba, who is on Transformation Boost, for getting some free healing. So he's got very, very good links. And then we get on to his transformation. Now, bear in mind, people like big numbers. A lot of the reason why something gets leaked, like LR Goku Black on JP, LR Rose, should I say, and people see his numbers and they go, oh, he doesn't look very good, because he only has like 66% in his passive or something like that. Well, those kind of people will absolutely love Cooler, because when transformed, he gives himself Ki +3 and attack and defense 180%, which is one of the highest passives of any Dokkan Fest exclusive that isn't contingent on fighting a certain enemy or having a certain like allies on your team or being hit first or attacking a certain number of times first. No, he literally just gets attack and defense 180% at the start of the turn. Pretty ridiculous. So then he launches an additional attack that has a medium chance, listed as 25%, to become a super attack. So he has the possibility to double super, which then of course increases the chances that he'll get an additional from his hidden potential if you do get dupes for him, because obviously he's an STR unit, so his main ability will be crit if you don't have dupes. And then, if you are fighting a Pure Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan, which of course goes back to his transformation, in that case you'll have been able to transform him to this state on turn 3, he gets a 100% chance to crit. So, against a Pure Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan, which is, as we said, a large majority of the game, not only is he getting a huge attack and defensive boost, he's getting a guaranteed crit, so you don't need to worry about attacking against like type disadvantage, for example. And then, of course, he has the possibility to launch a second super attack, which will also be a crit. And then, of course, the hidden potential, obviously the God RNG. You'll do 3 super attacks that are all guaranteed crits with this kind of ridiculous attack and defense boost. And then you only have to factor in having like a support unit on the team, maybe the untransformed cooler friend, and he'll just be putting out damage at an absolute ridiculous rate. Oh, plus of course, as I forget to mention, his super attack once he transforms, it now doesn't lower attack and defense, it greatly lowers defense, but he infinitely stacks attack, and it's a 30% stack as well. So even on the legendary Goku event, whilst he's not infinitely stacking his defense, by the time you get to the end and you're fighting Int UI Goku, with some support on the rotation, he's still going to tank reasonably well. And at that point, his attack stat is going to be insanely high, and he's getting guaranteed crits with the potential of an additional super attack. So it can't really be understated, like, how good he is. And then, of course, if we look at his categories, he's on movie bosses, obviously he's on Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, and his own one. Then when Android 13 eventually comes out, he's on Target Goku. And then he's on Last Resort, which is the category of the fusions from the 5-year. So, because both the fusions from the 5-year are in the Transformation Boost category, you could run Cooler on their team as a support unit. Or, because they actually have a lower leader skill, the ideal way to run the 2 fusions, if you do pull them both, is to run them on Transformation Boost with this Cooler as the leader, bring a Cooler friend, and then you could, if you wanted to, just never transform them. And then you're just going to have a support unit Cooler on both rotations who can lower attack and defense, and is just very, very good overall. So it can't really be understated just how good he is, and that's why, like, I know people are hyped for the 5-year, but that's why I get confused when people are saying that he's like an easy skip, because he is very easily one of the best TURs in the game, like top 3 at least. Like, even if you're skeptical, you'd have to admit that he's top 3 at least, but he is potentially one of the best TURs. Obviously for global, Vegito Blue is up there now, but this guy is an absolute madman. Then, of course, if we just have a quick look on his banner, there is the possibility of pulling the Thouser, who awakens to the Cooler Armored Squadron. They're a sub-leader for Terrifying Conquerors if you don't pull the Cooler. They do supreme damage and lower attack and defense, which is decent. Attack and defense 30% per Terrifying Conqueror's ally on the team. So obviously if you build a full team of them using these guys as the leader, or you just have them on the Cooler team, they're going to get a huge buff. They guarantee to launch 2 additional attacks, each of which has a 15% chance to become a super when there is an ally whose name includes Cooler, and then Cooler Armored Squadron excluded. So, unless it mentions it here specifically, no. So, basically it's just excluding them for the sake of, like, if you were running them with a friend lead version of them, I guess. So, any version of Cooler, including Metal Cooler, should count for this. So, they're going to fire off a bunch of extra attacks. So they are pretty decent. They're obviously not a support unit. They mainly get their buff for themselves. So they're probably not a top tier pick for Cooler's team, but they are pretty good. And obviously, like I said, they will be going into the general SSR pool once the banner has gone, or a new banner starts before it ends. So there you go. So that is the Cooler banner, potentially. Obviously, subject to change. I would say these two. If they don't change Namek Goku, maybe they change Kid Goku. I can't see them changing these, because these are staple, like, Wicked Bloodline units who are on his team, and obviously link super well with him, so I can't imagine them being taken off the banner. Physical Final Form Cooler gets like a new lease of life from this team, because obviously he'll link insanely well with the new Cooler, and the way transformations work is even when the STR one transforms into Final Form Cooler, meaning they now have the same name, the transformation still counts them as a separate unit, so they will link insanely well. I believe they do still have the exact same link set once Cooler transforms into Final Form. So, very, very good banner. Maybe this will change. So, like I said, my main issue, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, is because I don't think this banner is an easy skip. Like, Cooler is just so good that I think if you can afford to spare a few multis, then you really should. And then obviously if you are a whale, like me, I am going to be going in at least a few 100 stones. I've got at least one collab planned. I will do a stream when the banner drops, and we'll do a couple of 100 stones. Plus, of course, there is the rumour from the Reddit, from stuff that's been data mined, that there potentially is going to be tickets like there was for Future Gohan from the Pilaf Trove. Not tickets like the anniversary where you get them from summoning, but the ones that you just buy. Those can work out really well. In the stream that I did, where we did a few summons for Gohan, somebody in the stream pulled 2 future Gohans in one 5-unit multi from those ticket packs. So I will, if those are a thing, I will definitely be picking those up as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Have you changed your mind at all? Are you summoning for Cooler, yes or no? Or are you still very much on the save everything for the 5-year train? I'm very interested to know what you guys think down below. But I most certainly will be summoning for this absolute madman. His animations are beautiful. I didn't even mention that. Like, his animations are amazing. So I just can't wait. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.